And welcome back. I should say welcome back to myself because it has been a while. I am so sorry it's taken me so long to do another vlog. And thank you so much for the messages. When I say messages, 2 messages, to say that you were missing my Christmas run-up vlogs. I am just so sorry. And the reason is because at the beginning of December, we went to Lapland to see the real Santa. Oh my word. It was, I think I was as excited, if not more excited than the children. Magical. Oh, so magical. One of the most magical, special trips of our life. Like really, the children were a perfect age as well, 9 and 7. And it just reignited all our excitement for the season. Let me put it that way. Unbelievable. Really, really good. I am going to do a separate vlog for that. And that's the reason why I've taken so long, is I thought I'm not going to do a vlog until I get caught up. I'm going to do editing for the Lapland one and I'm going to get it up and then I'll do a vlog for Christmas. Well, time's just running out. And this morning I've just done my Christmas broth, which I always make my Christmas broth at the beginning of December and put it in the freezer. And that's one job I don't have to think about. But good job I didn't do that because we had a power cut at the beginning of December. We left for Lapland 10 minutes after and went out for 4 days. So we escaped thanks to Storm Arwen. There were lots of horrible accidents and casualties and deaths as well, which is just terrible. We missed all of the events because we left. We had the storm on the Friday night and still had power, but then left just after the power went out. So we headed off to Lapland. Oh, just unbelievably magical. But I'm just sitting here in front of the stove and I'm on my way to go and sort out the Christmas Eve packs. But before I do, I'm going to rewind to yesterday and show you just a little bit of what I was doing in the run-up. It's going to be a very small, just a short Christmas Bowraymas vlog, but this is kind of more a prep vlog, which I think is quite good. Not just all the arty decorating and all that, which there will be a little bit of that in it, I think, but the practical things like your broth. So I've put that in here. So I hope that can give you a little bit of help, and this will hopefully help for next year because it might be a little bit late now for this year. But I will show you lots of different things. So I'll skip ahead to that and then I'll see you back here at the very end. A couple of these trees, the ones that had the beautiful yellow leaves. My last 2, one came down in a previous storm, the remnants of which is over there that I want to save and do something with, but it's starting to rot, so I'm going to chop it all up. But they were rotten on the inside, so it was a job that Steve was going to be doing anyway, to chop them down just for safety reasons, but they came down in the storm. So Steve is going to check to see if this is hollow. If not, he's going to keep that bit for me to try and slice into maybe some food pallet sort of things, which I want to do with the ones at the front of the house as well, so I might not need it, but we're just a way to chop all of this up and get it stored, so we've got lots of logs for the future.
Hold up, I am on my way, I'm in motion. Let's go to the ocean. Yeah, let's go outside. We can hang out on the beach without freezing. Yeah, isn't that amazing? In Christmas times.
So I saw this, I think it was on Facebook or Instagram, where if you just melt your sugar in a pan, then it's much stronger for your gingerbread houses. So I'm just using an old pan here to melt some plain, normal, granulated sugar, and then we're going to use it for the main parts of the house so that it sticks really, really strongly together. And then we'll use normal icing to decorate it because that'll look a lot nicer, obviously, using normal icing. But this will make it really strong and much easier to put together. This is how it looks after it's been heating for a little while. I think I should have done this a bit slower though because it's starting to burn, but never mind. So we'll go ahead and dip the edges of the house. I've just put a little bit of icing onto what we're going to be putting the house onto, which is a chopping board covered in tin foil, and then we're just going to dip the edges in. Got to be really careful because it's so hot, obviously, not the sugar, really hot, but it just sticks together like that, like glue. Much easier and much better than trying to wait until the icing has set. It's set already. That's how strong it is. Oh my word, that's so much easier. I wish I'd done this years ago. So much better.
Christmas in my heart, but this year I wanna hang out with my friends and family, making
I've decided that I'm going to put some greenery up here. This is just 2 twigs, 2 branches. I've actually had to put, oh, till I climb up the steps and not fall over. I've actually put a box of Finish, see there? Old dishwasher tablet box in behind, just to support it up the way, but there's nothing else there other than the branches. I'll need to give this a dust because it's very dusty. So yeah, I've just put them up, and what I've done is I've actually used one of these metal rings and just threaded through some branches all the way around. I thought I'd do this sort of job before I can get my festive nails done because my hands will be covered. And I'm just going to pop that in the centre, just there, to cover that big, whoa, I'm falling off the steps. Just to cover like the circle there, but I don't know if that's going to stay up, and I don't want it falling on my Christmas dinner. But I think that's going to work, you know? Yeah, because I'm going to cover it with twinkly lights. I've got these twinkly lights from the White Company. Look at the mess of my nails. Good job, I did this before. And look at the state of my hands. Good job, I've done this before I go to Susie's and get my nice nails done. So yeah, I think these will look really nice, threaded through here, round here, and then I'll do the same on this side. So let me prop you up and show you me doing the other side. Okay, I'm gonna climb up and do this side here. I've just got three Christmas tree branches. That size, and that side. You put the big one on first, right here, and I've got a Tupperware tub that looks like this to act as my like upright support. Let's see if that's going to work. To bring it forward. Oh no, there's some flies got in. I shook them as well. Oh no, there's flies everywhere. Thank God I just had fly spray. Once I put this up, I'll do a quick fly spray and get rid of all the beasties that have come in with the branches. Now, I think in future years I'll create something a little bit easier to put together, but this is pretty simple. I say, as I struggle to get it set up. Let's put this in front and block it out. And then I think one more ought to do it. Let's see how that looks from there. A little bit more depth, I think. Let's get some more branches. On here, like so. Et voila! And that looks okay. I think I want to get some Christmas lights on top of there as well. It'll brighten up. Let's try putting them in now.
Doesn't matter if the snow is falling or the wind blows and the rain is pouring. It will always be Christmas in my heart.
Okay, that looks really sad. It's only one run of lights. I don't have any other lights. I've got ones that I used. I should have kept them. How silly. I've actually used them in the downstairs toilet. I wonder if I could rob them and use them here. So these are the lights I'm talking about robbing. Only problem is, well, it's quite nice seeing the sleigh and all the greenery. Look at all the greenery on the carpet. It is on a blanket, but I've kind of spread it out. So I'm gonna have to hoover. Isn't that nice? That's a nice vantage point. Isn't that lovely looking through? My poinsettia has not lasted at all, which is a bit disappointing. Yes, I wrapped these round about 3 times. Obviously, you don't look at them from there. You look at it sort of here, and it sort of illuminates the mirror. But I think that that's not even going to be enough either, because you would see the string and you'd see how many. Right, I'm just going to have to leave it just now, and then have a think about. There's not enough time to order. I'll see if I can pick any up in Home Bargain style. I'll go write that on my shopping list for tonight. Time to make my stock for my broth tomorrow. So I've just chopped up some red onion, white onion, leek and carrots. And before I add my chicken and some more water, I'm going to remove down the centre line of the chicken, the breasts of the chicken. And the skin obviously was over like that. And I'm going to remove all this excess skin as well, because that just adds to the fat content in your stock. But I'm cutting down this centre line and down that centre line there as well, and then removing all the breast meat. And I can use that for my dinner the other night. And this is all the fat, all the skin that's come off. And I've just used a pair of scissors to cut through, much easier than trying to use a knife. I've taken all the excess skin off and then popped the carcass with all the extra meat into the pan. And that's the chicken breasts in a container ready for our dinner tomorrow night. So it saves wasting the chicken and taking the goodness out of the breasts as well. So I'll just leave that to boil for at least an hour. The longer the better, and all the goodness will come out of the chicken and into the water, along with all the vegetables as well, obviously. Okay, this has been bubbling away now for a good few hours, and you can see how the colour of the water has changed with all the goodness from the chicken, and it's all broken down into stock. So now I strain it through a sieve, which just takes out all the veg and all the lumps or any broken bits of chicken, and I put it into a glass container or a measuring jug or whatever kind of thing, and then leave it to settle in the fridge overnight. A little bit of reality, just because I think it's good for everyone's mental health to acknowledge that the house does get into a mess, and it does look like this sometimes. So the children have been doing this while I was putting away the Tesco delivery and making the chicken stock. Dishwasher needs emptied, so everything else is piling up on top because I can't empty the dishwasher until that's I can't fill the dishwasher until this is emptied. I'm going to go and clear this. This is sitting here because I don't want to decant it until I've got a clear space, because the dust from the ice and sugar is going to go everywhere. So that's waiting to be done. These are out because instead of making my mincemeat this year, I've bought jars of mincemeat, and tomorrow's task is to make mincemeat pies. So this was decanted out of the school bag today. So I need to tidy that up. This was out to use a screwdriver to fix my handle on my cooker, which Steve has done earlier, and it allowed me to clean all the inside of my cooker doors, which has never been done, I don't think, since we had it, because I didn't know how to do it. And now I know how to do it. So I've got no excuse now not to tidy it. Bin's just been emptied, but it's sitting over at the door because I need to put the carcass from the chicken in. But I need to pick the chicken first and get all the chicken goodness. That's obviously the goodness has gone into the stock, but the meat from the chicken is still really good. So I'm going to go and pick that, and we can use that as a like spicy chicken topping for some nachos one of the days. So I am going to go and do this. I'm going to put some Netflix on, and I'm going to watch Netflix while I tackle this. And then I've got here, you can see a flash dishwasher, a flash dishwasher. That's a difficult thing to say. Flash dishwasher cleaner, because one of the top jobs I like to do before Christmas is to clean my dishwasher. So I'm going to empty this and clean it. Ignore the state of the door. This is all peeling. So one of my jobs in the new year is to peel all this off and give it a complete new coat. So that is a job for the new year to add to my list. But yeah, this is enough. You've seen this mess enough now. I'm not going to show it anymore. I'm going to leave you and go and tackle this job tonight before I head to bed. That is a bag full of stuff for setting up the hot chocolate station. I'll take you with me while I'm doing that, because I'll be able to set you up and show you this view, because it'll be nice and clean. I finished this. Put a little bit of sprigs. I've still got to put some other decorations in here. Couldn't get lights for it though, because I used the lights that were there on, spin you around, here. Oh, I love it. I really love it. I'm going to put some pheasant feathers in and zhuzh it up a little bit. But I've got these branches with little, oh, what do you call it? What would you call them? Cones, little like cones on them. So I've put the stars that I had for the kitchen onto there. So I've still got to add little bits, but I don't want to attach anything to the back to hold this in place, because this wall is not very stable. It's quite a damp wall. So I don't want to risk it crumbling. So this is just laid on, and this is sort of holding it from moving. It's just literally one branch, two branches, one branch, two branches, and that's all it is. Nothing else. And then the lights. It looks pretty good for just that, isn't it? It's a bit lopsided, obviously, a bit more on this side than this side. But I'm going to put some more bits into it, but I'll do that tomorrow. So I started with the worst job, and that is picking the chicken. I didn't pick it very well. I got the majority of it though, which is now here in a container. I'm going to put a lid on it, put it in the fridge, and the stock is already in the fridge for overnight. So I'm going to go and get rid of this into the outside bin because it smells if you leave it in your inside bin. We discovered that when you come down in the morning and like, oh, I didn't take the chicken out last night, it smells. So I'm going to pop out and pop this into the outside bin just now. Okay, it might be nearly 2 in the morning, 1:52, but that is me all finished up. I've just washed the pan, ready for making the soup tomorrow, so it's all clean. I'm ready to head to bed now, and I'll finish off the rest in the morning. In that tub there is, let me go over, is the thing soaking for tomorrow. So in there is a pack of broth mix, and I'm just soaking it overnight. And then we'll be able to use it in the morning. So that is me finished up. I'm going to head up to bed now. I just added a little bit of extra frosting to the bottom of the tray, to the bottom of the board. So trying to get a bit of a surprise tomorrow morning. And I'm going to go turn these off. My plan for next year is I'm going to take down this New York picture. We took this when we got engaged. So I'm going to take it. It was one of those... it was taken with one of those old cameras where you took 3 separate photographs and lined them up. So you stitched them together on the computer software. And when I got this printed out, the gentleman said that he'd never seen such a good stitch. But to be fair, we spent about 3 hours up at the top of the Empire State Building. And Steve was so patient with me because I wanted to get it just perfect. So I got it stitched together in a place called, a place in Edinburgh. And I think I'm going to take that down next year and then get a nice big wreath up here. Watch this space, because ideally I'd like to get rid of the wallpaper, but that's a different story for another day. I'm going to head to bed now. Okay, sweet dreams, everyone. Good morning. Oh, you can kind of not see my head. I'll maybe put it up a little bit because you don't need to see me chopping onions, do you? So good morning, everyone. I've got you sort of propped up. You'll never guess what I've got you attached to. I've got you attached to a box of crackers. Is that gonna level up? Yeah. Got you attached to a box of crackers with my broken stand, and I've got a book, a recipe book, propped on the broken stand to stop it from moving. But it's a bit skew-with, so yeah, hopefully that works. So yeah, how's everyone this morning? 3 days to Christmas. I am never ever this late in doing my broth. Usually I make it at the beginning of December or earlier than that, pop it in the freezer and then just take it out on Christmas Day, which also saves room in your fridge as well. I've got my contact lenses in for chopping the onions. I've also got this for chopping the leek. Now I don't normally put leek in my broth, but I ordered 3 leeks thinking, well, if they come and they're tiny, then I'll need 3 for doing all the stuff I need. Look at the size of them. So I used one in my stock, one full one in my stock yesterday. So in my stock, I just had leeks, carrots, onions. I didn't put any bay leaf or herbs or anything into the stock just to make it a plain one for being broth. And yeah, look at the size of that. So I thought I'd put a little bit of this in as well just to use it up. And I think it'll taste nice, but I'm going to make it really small using this. But I find this mushes the onions too much. So I'm just going to chop the onions like I would normally, really finely, but not too fussy. It doesn't matter if it's chunky, just fine enough that it doesn't, it doesn't have to be too smooth, which is quite handy with a Scotch broth. So the broth that I'm doing, I'm just chopping up 3 onions. They're quite small, so I'm doing 3 of them, and then I'm actually going to saute them in the pan. You don't have to do this for a Scotch broth. Usually you just bung everything in and cook it and then it's ready. But I'm going to actually saute my onions just to give it a little bit of extra flavour. And good job I didn't make this ahead of time, because I made my broth for Christmas. It would have possibly or potentially been ruined in the freezer because of the power cuts. So everything happens for a reason. So that is the reason that this has happened. That I haven't had it done. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. I got my nails done last night by Susie, and I was going to be completely influenced by Shona Singer, who is wife of a friend that I went to school with, and she got beautiful green nails done for her Christmas. And I thought, you know what, I always get red done, and I got red done for Lapland, so I thought I'll switch it up a bit and I'll get green. But when I was sitting there, Susie had on this beautiful red jumper and she was looking really festive in her red, and I thought, you know what, I think I would be gutted not to have red nails. So, and also I'm wearing red for Christmas Day. So yeah, it just made sense to get my red, and they've got a little bit of a sparkle through them. Not too much of a sparkle. My hands are really dry just now, which reminds me I've got a care link box to open up, which has got all my refills of my soaps and my silks for Christmas, which is great because I want to make sure I'm fully stocked with people coming, because the first thing they're going to do when they come in the house is wash their hands. We are all taking lateral flows before we go anywhere, and anyone who's coming to our house is also doing the same, and that is as much as we can do. I never normally would have oil in my Scotch broth, because obviously you would just bung everything in, but I'm just putting a little tiny drizzle, just enough to be able to saute my onions. Right, that is my onions all chopped. I'm going to go and add them to my pan, which is now very sizzling. I'm just going to chop, I'm only going to chop half a leek. I'm going to take this section, but this is the sort of thing that you get taught. If it's grown obviously in soil, you're best to cut into the centre. See, it's got little rings almost like a tree. Cut into the centre and slice it down. This is more important for the top half of the leek. It down to there, and then it sort of sprays open, and that's where you wash it, because sometimes little bits of mud can get stuck inside. Not so important for the bottom half, because it's quite tightly packed, but I will still just give it a little bit of a rinse to make sure. Get rid of all the water, excess water, and then I'm going to blitz it in this little hand blender thing. I don't think it's got a name. Mum bought it for me as a gift, and I remember thinking, what am I going to use that for? And I was so glad that I got it chopped roughly and then popped into the blender thing, so it makes it really tight so that it's not too obvious. So all those people that go, why is it leak in my broth? They won't even know, because it's going to be so finely chopped. That's my plan anyway. Kin, like that. So I'm going to add that in too. That is in the soup. I ought to put turnip into my broth, but they didn't have any turnip in my Tesco delivery yesterday, so I am getting a vegetable box from the wonderful Bear in Ellen. I'm not getting that till tomorrow. So if it tastes really bad and not as good as my usual, then I will add some turnip into it. But I'm hoping that I can get away with not having it in it. So there's not a lot of fat settled on the top, but you can see the line that I'm going to go and take off. Then this is my lovely stock, and then there'll be some sediment at the bottom that I'm also not going to keep, but I have put cling film on. I know that's not very good for the environment, but I'm going to use that to catch scoop off all the fat at the top and taking off the fat that's collected. And the handy thing about having cling film is you just lift up your 4 or 5 corners, take it up like that, twist it, and then pop that into the bin. I'm going to go and add this to my soup. I'm going to use a ladle to make sure that I don't get any sediment from the bottom. Look how thick it is. It's quite a lumpy consistency, which is really good. You can add some water, you can dilute it down, but it's nice and concentrated. So I hope that it gives me a good flavour. They say you should always buy, for your stock, the best chicken you can afford, because the better the stock, the better the soup. Left at the bottom, and I could probably have put that in, but you see there's little bits, so that sediment won't get used. Get my Christmas tea towel over my shoulder. Makes it so much easier if it's over your shoulder, just to be able to grab it and do it. I should do that with my apron on. But I'm doing all of this while my hair is slapped back on my head, because we have got the hairdressers today, which is good. We're all getting a trim before Christmas, so I know my hair will be down afterwards. I want to get the soup on and done, so there's no chance of my hair going in the soup, because my hair gets everywhere. For a broth, you don't really have to peel your carrots. You can just give them a scrub, but I'm going to peel them today, just to look a little bit nicer. But I'm only going to lightly peel them. But I do have that scrubbing cloth from Norwex, which is really good, that you just basically take off any dirt that's on the outside of your carrots. So I'm just going to give them a quick going over just to make sure that they look smarter for Christmas. Turn that off. And while I'm chopping the carrots, I'm actually going to add my broth mix. So I've just got a pack of broth mix, 500 grams worth. I have used the whole lot because I want to make a big batch. So I've had it soaking overnight here in far too much water because I tipped it in and then covered it. So they've been soaking overnight, minimum 8 to 12 hours, and then I'm just going to rinse them through, and then I'm just going to pour them through this sieve and then add them to the soup. If you forget to soak them the night before, don't fear. Pop them into a little bit of water, pop them on the hob for 20 minutes, and then leave them to sit in that water for 2 hours, and that'll speed it along a little bit, and then start making your soup. But if you do really forget, you just keep it boiling for longer. So don't worry if there's a step, if you forget to do a step, because I've done that many times that I've forgotten. Oh no, my tea towel! Saved just in time. Right, so that, you can see the dried peas that were in the broth mix. That's what you're really soaking it for, is the dried peas have really expanded. So that means that they will cook a lot easier, they won't be hard. It's just a mix of all the different Scotch grains. You've got some red lentils in there, you've got some barley, and peas and yellow peas, split peas, and this is just a great way of buying it already made. But you can add it all separately if you want as well. Up to the boil while I cut the carrots. Later, because I can watch movies and things in the evenings and have hot chocolate. I just can't wait for it. I'm so excited for festive season. I'm so looking forward to it. I hope everyone's doing okay though, because it's a tough time of year as well, just in general, but to add in COVID as well is not the most pleasant for people, and people are very anxious and worried. I am just chopping up the carrots. I'm making them relatively small. You can make them as chunky as you like. That's the good thing about broth, you can make it a really chunky soup. I've also got kale, which is in the fridge, but I'm not going to add it before I put it in the freezer because I want to keep the lovely green colour. Now, some of my family members, naming no names, won't like the kale, but I'm going to pop it in anyway because it's lovely. But I'm going to put it in on the day, on Christmas Day, if I remember, and then I can either steam it beforehand and people can just add it if they want it. But my mum's dad, Granda Barclay, used to love a piece of kale in his, so I'm kind of taking that back so that it becomes normal for the children as well, rather than abnormal. But you can, if you don't have kale, you can use parsley, anything sort of green, just to give that hint of colour. But you can also there's so many things you can put into your broth, but this is like a traditional Scotch broth, but every family will have their own way of doing it, own recipe. In fact, I think Mum probably does it differently than me as well. There's so many different ways of doing it. And I just like experimenting a little bit with things, which, making it my own. So hopefully the leeks either aren't spotted or will add an extra little dimension that ends up being, oh, now this is nice. Oh, this is how I'm going to, fingers crossed. We can change. We'll pop this in the pan. It's in the pan now, and I will simmer that away for about an hour and then check on it. Add some seasoning, some salt, pepper, whatever you fancy putting in. But I'll just add a little bit of salt, but not too much, because then everyone can add on the Christmas Day, and the children can have it with a little bit less salt, but add a little bit. So I will just add a little bit more water to that, I think, just so it's not so thick for just now, because it's going to be simmering for an hour. So add a little bit more boiling water and then leave that to turn into beautiful, delicious winter day goodness. And I just can't wait to have some at lunchtime after the hairdressers. So breakfasts are all done and the children are happy. So the soup is on. I just keep adding more hot water. You just sort of judge when it gets too thick, and then keep going until you taste test the peas. And if the peas are at the right consistency, depends if you like a little bit of a bite to your peas, or if you like it to be really soft and mushy. You just have to judge yourself how far cooked you want it to be, because it's not good if you have they're too hard, but some people like them to have a little bit of bite still, so it's entirely up to yourself. With the rest of the leek, I do on Christmas Day, I do cream sprouts. My favourite part of Brussels sprouts is having them creamed. So what I do with that is I have 5 garlic cloves, half a leek, so I'm going to go and blitz up the rest of this leek. 5 garlic cloves, and I'm going to pop them into a Ziploc bag for the freezer, and then that way they can just be taken out in the morning. I don't have any prep work to do for that part. Then I saute those. Then I add my Parr steamed sprouts. I've actually bought little ones this year as well so I'm getting ones from Bear tomorrow, which will be the big ones, and I'm going to Parr steam them so we've got some just plain sprouts. Then I will also take some of them out and chop them in half, so they're kind of half shredded as well, like they break up in the actual sauce. But I've also got little mini ones as well that I'm going to keep whole, little tiny ones that I got from Marks and Spencer's, really cute. So I'm going to put them in as well, and then double cream, Parmesan, lots of it, and some, if we've got some leftover Gruyere from Christmas Eve. On Christmas Eve we do a raclette, so we get some sliced meats from the butcher, and we use, if we can't get raclette cheese, you can just use any kind of Swiss hard cheese. I just use Gruyere because I've got loads of Gruyere in. That just saves me a trip to go and get raclette cheese. So we have a Swiss raclette on Christmas Eve, and it's just lovely because we can all be sitting around. We might take it through to the lounge. We often sit at the table, but because it'll be set for Christmas, I think we'll take it through to the lounge and have it set up in the lounge with the fire on, a Christmas movie on, and then we're going to do hot chocolates. And we're going to make up the hot chocolate station, but I don't think I'm going to have time before our haircuts. I think this is all I'm going to have time to do, and then our haircuts in 15 minutes. So I'm going to quickly blitz this, pop it in the freezer, head for our haircuts, and then when I come back, I'm going to make up the hot chocolate stand that we'll use on Christmas Eve as well. And I need to add a little bit of the chicken that I picked from the carcass into the broth as well. Then I'll decant some for Christmas Day and freeze it, and the rest we'll have for our lunch when we come back from getting our hair done. Right, so I will catch up with you again when I come back from my hair, and I'll do the hot chocolate stand with you, and I've got Christmas Eve snacks to do as well. So all Christmas prep, which is quite exciting. Right, I'll see you completely redone. This hair will be completely changed, but I'll quickly prep this before I go.
But this year I wanna hang out with my friends and family, making angels in the sand.
I forgot to mention there in the ingredients for my creamed sprouts, I also use bacon lardons. So I'll put the lardons into the pan and use the fat. If there's not enough fat, add some more oil, but use the fat from the lardons to saute the leeks and the garlic before adding your sprouts, your cream and your cheese. Oh, they're just delicious. They're just so nice. And then the lardons go nice and crispy. Oh, which is my favourite part of eating sprouts at Christmas. Right, finish this off because we're going to run out of time. I'm always rushing. I'm always late.
Doesn't matter, it's Christmas in my heart.
Okay, just in time. I've got to go now. That is all prepped. I put the garlic in there as well. Instead of crushing the garlic, I chopped it up finely in there. So that is it all ready. I could write on, but it's only 3 days time, so I'll know what it is. Going in the freezer, and it will be ready for Christmas Day. So we're back from the hairdressers. Before I added any extra liquid to it, because it kind of soaked in while we were away, I decanted it into here and added some chicken, and it's quite concentrated, and I'll add more water to that when it's Christmas Day, just to make it easier to store in one container rather than having to have 2 or 3 containers to put the date and Christmas Day. And then in our one for just now, I've added a little bit extra liquid, some of the chicken. I've also put chicken into the one for the freezer, and then a little bits of kale. And I'm just heating through it and bring it back up to temperature, and then I'll serve it for our lunch today.
Doesn't matter, it's Christmas in my heart.
Oh, how lovely and festive this looks. I've moved the rocking chair over to this side now. I'm back from the hairdressers. I just videoed the intro, which you'll have seen at the very beginning of this video, and I got some curls put into my hair. So it's just a trim today, and I booked in for my colour in January. I'm sitting on my lovely new reindeer hide from Lapland. How beautiful is that? Absolutely stunning. Love it. It's now in front of the fire, so it's looking very festive in here. I haven't done the hot chocolate stand yet because I'll do that later. I'll set it up for tonight and we're gonna have first hot chocolates tonight because I thought I'd get on with this while the children are having a rest before we start our mincemeat pies. I am gonna start wrapping the stuff for Christmas Eve. So Christmas Eve we like to do a game. We like to dress in matching pajamas, which I have over here. I've gone for ones from Asda this year. Often I try and buy them big enough that I'll do a couple of years, so we're not buying new ones every single year. These we've already worn because we wore them in Lapland when we were in Lapland together. So usually they'd be brand new and they'd be a surprise, and I'd wrap them up and they'd open them. I'm not going to waste wrapping paper and wrap them because you've seen them before. Children's ones say it is the season to be together, and they have got the same tartan trousers as the adult ones. Now you do get children's ones the same as the adults, but my two like to have proper top instead of buttons. So the adult ones look like this. Let me open up this one. I just thought the tartan was really nice and really classy because a lot of the tartans are not so nice. I think this is just a lovely, lovely pattern. So they're from Asda. There's still some of the adult ones left. I'm not sure if the children ones are still in stock. But there's still some of the adult ones online. And I've got them for the grandparents as well for Christmas Day night when we're snuggling in front of the sofa. Usually if they come on Christmas Eve, then they would get a Christmas Eve bag as well. They have also got a hot chocolate mug, the same as we have, which has got a little snowman on it. It's just drawn on. It was a fundraiser for the preschool one year. So I got for all the grandparents and us, and they go in their little boxes and into the bags as well. And we used to put activity books and little things like packs for them to do, but we ran out of time because we play a game on Christmas Eve. Usually we go to church, but this year I think we're going to try and stay safer and not go anywhere before having the grandparents round. So this year, the game of choice is Scrabble Junior. So last year, you'll remember we had Puckett, amazing game, and it was still played right into Christmas Day, and it's been played throughout the year. It's a wonderful game to play as a family. And the year before that was, I think that was the year that we got the big wooden Monopoly board. So we try and make it classic games that'll stay forever. This one's not so much of a classic game, but we thought it would be a really, really good one for the children to play. So I'm going to go and wrap that up before any of them come back down. So I'm going to go and wrap that up for Christmas Eve. I'm also not too much of a fan of tacky presents that I have to keep and not get rid of. But Grace has been going on about this item every time we go into Marks and Spencer's, and really once I said, no, we're not buying it, and she's been really good about it. So when I was in last night on my own, I picked this up, and it's a Percy Pig musical rotating tin. You turn it around, but I don't make it too loud, it went wrong way, and it dances. So much, it's just tat, isn't it? But she will be delighted with that, and I hope she doesn't hear the noise of it just now. So I'm going to wrap that up as well. But also on Christmas Eve, we keep these books behind so that they only get read on Christmas Eve. We also have a box in my Fortnite with Mason basket upstairs, which has got all the Christmas books, and each night they choose 2 books to read when we are going to sleep. But these 2 are kept in the Christmas Eve box so they don't get used other than on Christmas Eve. So it's not wasted, it's a special book for Christmas Eve, and that is Santa's Sleigh is on his way to Aberdeen. Now these are from, it says Hometown World, and you can order these for lots of different places around the world. So we've got the one for Aberdeen because we're in Aberdeenshire, and then we've also got the musical button book, 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. I'll upgrade this in the future, but they still love pressing the buttons, well, especially Grace does. I'll upgrade that in the future to an old-fashioned version, but it's still a firm favourite. And this year, I've introduced 2 new gifts that I'm going to wrap up, which they haven't seen yet. And that is another musical orchestra book called this. They're called the Story Orchestra, and this one is the Nutcracker for Barclay. And it's a beautiful, it's actually like velvet, it's not velvet, like linen almost, like a linen feel on the actual page, but it's hardback, and then each page there's a button to press, and it's got the music. I'm not going to take the tab out because I don't want it to make any noise when it's in the bag, but it's just beautifully illustrated, and I think that'll be really nice to read on Christmas Eve as well. And then for Grace, it's Swan Lake, and purple's her favourite colour, so she's going to absolutely adore that. And I think I'm going to enjoy it. I think this is half for me as well, because I love this sort of thing. Snuggling up on Christmas Eve with our matching pyjamas, reading books after we have played our game, maybe watch a family film, hot chocolates, setting up for Santa coming. They have also got matching sacks, which you can see, which we set up for Santa coming. This is the colour that I'm hoping to eventually decorate the lounge in, this deep red for Christmas. I mean, the Christmas colour for the lounge. And they've got the wooden tag that says Bartley and Grace with a little bell. And I just love stags and deer, especially since we're in Scotland and live in a country area where we get them walking through the garden. It's just lovely. So they have both got those. I need to iron those, so they're left out so I can iron them ready. The children have also got, well, they had these elf slippers when they were little, but they're a bit too small now. These were from Primark, and they did have them back in, but for adults they didn't have children's ones. So what I did was last year I ordered ones online. They're not as good, but they are still very cute, and they're not as hot and cumbersome, so they can actually wear them a lot better. So they've got little elf shoes to go with their matching pyjamas, and a little elf hat as well with a little bell on the end. And then they've got their pressed teddies. They still love these. They play music, you get the gist. So I'll put them in the bag as well. And usually we do a little sweet treat and a hot chocolate cone sort of pack. But because I'm doing the hot chocolate tray set up, I don't think we need that. So I think that'll be fine. They've got activity books, Christmas activity books to put in as well. These were actually from last year, didn't use them. They maybe for a couple of years ago, but because we're so busy on Christmas Eve, they don't actually get through these yet, but they're ideal for Christmas Eve if I have to do some prep and they need something to do, then they've got something to do. I put everything into this sack here. These are just Hessian sacks, and I bought these beautiful Posh Graffiti labels and then put the lovely deep red ribbon from East of India on it. And then these are actually from Acacia wood, is that how you say it? But they're really hollow. It feels almost like they're made out of clay, but we've got our initials of those. So I'm away to go and pack all of that up, wrap up these presents really quickly in case the children come in, and then get the sacks all made up, ready for Christmas Eve, and set it up like my sleigh. It's supposed to be at the bottom of the stairs, but I haven't finished the bottom of the stairs yet. And it just looks so nice next to the fireplace. And I put, obviously you saw me putting the foliage on the top. I've had to move the stocking, and the gingerbread house was on top of the stove. And then I went to the toilet while I lit the stove and went to the toilet, and then I was like, oh, the gingerbread house is on top of the stove! So quickly peed, quickly ran through, and I was like, oh my word, because it's on a plastic chopping board that I've covered with tin foil. I thought, oh my word, it's going to be melted to the top. But I got there just in time, it wasn't hot. The panic though, the absolute panic. So yeah, I'm going to get going with wrapping this, and then I will see you back once they're all done. Is them all packed and ready for Christmas Eve, and then I've wrapped up the tin and the 2 books there, and I couldn't fit the Night Before Christmas and the Santa's on His Way to Aberdeen in our sacks, so I've popped them in a separate sack with this ribbon, which is very similar to their Santa sack ribbon. I love that deep colour. So yeah, so we are ready for Christmas Eve. I'm away to go and make mincemeat pies with the children now, and I will check in with you later. And then that'll be the end of my stories on Instagram. But I thought I'd show you on here as well. These are the refills for my Care Leg bottles. It's great because you don't, it's not a waste of plastic as well. I've gone for the 500ml one, which gives me 2 lots of the bottles, which means that when I use it the first time, I'm reminded the second time that I need to reorder these, which is handy. So I've got these that's for the upstairs, no, for the downstairs toilet. I've still got soap left, still got silk left, the moisturiser left, so I only needed the soap. I've also gone for the red soap and hand lotion for the upstairs bathroom as well. Open a package up from Annie Mo's as well. You can also use Bowray 10 at Annie Mo's to get 10% off too. And I've ordered this winter spice candle. It's got lovely bits of orange and cinnamon sticks through it, and it smells amazing. It just smells like Christmas. So ready for my mulled wine and mulled apple juice. I have pre-cut some oranges, so then what you can do, pop them in the freezer and then put them straight into your mulled apple juice or into your mulled wine. And it works perfectly. Saves all the prep work when you have guests at the house. I have bought a large salmon and then cut it into these different bags, one for Christmas morning and then the other one for throughout the season. And it just means that you can buy in bulk and then freeze it and then just take it out the night before. That is the hot chocolate stand ready for using. Children have helped me fill all the bits up. I usually make like a homemade chocolate, and I put it into jars one year and we didn't use all of it. So this year I can still make it, but it had like condensed milk and evaporated milk in it, and it was a massive, massive lot of work, and I put it in the slow cooker. But I've just got some powder here, so it makes it a bit easier. But I might make that in the new year, potentially, as the last little finish off. But that is us already. I've just got to put the toffee sauce for going on top and the squirty cream, and that is us set to enjoy a few hot chocolates. I wish you all the best festive season, wherever you are, and whoever you're sharing it with. I wish you all the love and happiness that the season brings, and all the best for 2022. And I hope you have a good one. I hope whatever you're doing, that it is a special one and it's good for you. And I just send you so much love, and thank you to everyone who has supported me this year and has been my cheerleaders in the background. So thank you so much. You know who you are. So thank you for being there for me. We'll see you in the new year in the next vlog. Well, you'll see me in the Lapland one, but I don't know if I'll get it out before the festive season. It might be a New Year's thing. But you'll see me in the new year. And I've already got a list of jobs, as always, to get done. So I'm hoping to get through those, and you'll get to come along on the journey with me during all of that. So I'll say, love you lots, bye.